Hello everybody, Seal here, and we're back, and today we're going to be ranting about suburbs and restaurants. And if you don't give a shit about either of those two topics, well, I mean, I can't flip you off in character, but if I could, I would. So, I live in a suburb.
I see you've been keeping yourself.
Yes, let's just get this quick here.
We are a brotherhood, a family. I would like you to speak with Modern Orion.
Alright,
You won't.
awesome. So, I live in a suburb, outside of a city, and this is a dark elf who's just over here, if I'm not mistaken. And in this suburb, because of the infinite wisdom of the people who get elected into power here, there is a restriction.
I suppose you've come.
Hold up.
He's one of your Fighters Guild brothers, but he's defaulted on a... He didn't finish out a contract in skill.
Alright.
Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. He's raw like you.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, let's go find this guy. So, there is, like, specific limitations on my town as to how many fast food restaurants are allowed in the town, right? Like, can I just say how fucking ridiculous this is? Alright, so I grew up in a different town, and then I moved to this province later. So it's sort of like, if you're American, it's like I grew up in Maine, and then when I was 10, I moved to Boston, alright? Just to put that into perspective, I moved from one state to another state, basically. So I grew up in a fairly small town that had two amazingly good fast food pizza places.
So let's hear it.
Oh, really? A KFC, which, oh, my love. A Dagwood's, which was an amazing burger place. And a bunch of other restaurants that not always fast food, but were restaurants. And then I moved to this town where there was one family-run restaurant, one really shitty pizza place nobody really eats, and a Pizza Delight that burned to the ground. And that's it. Let's listen to Maglier for a second.
What is it, brother? I'm Mag. Defaulted? I suppose so. I'm not... That was my job. They said it was in Fallen Rock Cave. You have a bit... If you care that much, you go find it. The contract's yours.
What a fucking
Whatever.
pansy. So eventually things like this town grew a little bit. So we had the Pizza Delight and a really shitty bar above the Pizza Delight. That had like wing nights, but honestly their wings weren't great. Then a Subway moved into town, and of course we have a Tim Hortons, but I don't consider Tim Hortons a restaurant at all. Like, yes, you can get food there, but I mean it's not something I would ever do. So, oh, excuse me, I'm still sick. Hashtag still dying. So a Subway moved into town, and the town was fine with that. The town allowed a Subway to happen. And I'm like, that is like the worst of the fast food places. Why the fuck are there just two Oblivion Gates, like, inside of each other? Like, I'm half tempted to just abandon doing this quest just to go shut one of these. But I'm pretty sure I'd end up just running through it like a pansy again. Because, again, I'm leveling up a little too fast for how stronger I'm actually getting in terms of gear. But I did recently use a Wireless Stone, so I have a lot of good magical shit on hand, but that's beside the point. So, we got a Subway, which was neat, but, like, I'm not a big Subway fan. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's, like, nothing in the house to cook, and it's a Sunday, and the grocery store is already closed, yeah, I'll swing by Subway. I'll get a cold cut combo, or I'll get a what is it? A steak and cheese, right? Like, I mean, I never get anything too extravagant because I'm just not a Subway person. You Jesus, what a way to die, man. He got rocked to the nuts to death. That's awful. Uh, so Subway doesn't do it for me. I mean, it exists. Ah, fuck. And I can appreciate the fact that it exists, but it's just not something I really give a shit about. And I think it's a really big issue that in this town, that's like the only equivalent we have. My strength is being drained to the point where I can't move. Why can't I wait? Can I not wait because I'm over encumbered? Alright, let's just cast a dispel on ourselves. Really? I could have sworn this was something that could be dispelled. Well, that's bullshit. So, yeah, our town doesn't have much. We eventually got a bar opened up. The bar referred to itself as the Shireton, or the Shire Town, whatever. And it was pretty, like, average at best. Think of like a hipster sort of sports pub. Not even a bar, alright? Let's call it a pub. Right? You know, where they keep the lighting down and it's dark and, you know, the food's ridiculously overpriced for only being slightly okay. And it just wasn't a great place. And again, it was very expensive. And the food was never cooked right. Oh, hello. I didn't summon you. I should be able to kill you with just my cutlass. I don't use the cutlass to fight the wraiths because it's not magical or silver, so it probably won't even affect them. Which is cool. It's very old school D&D-esque, and I like it. But yeah. So the Shire Town existed. And was just sort of a steaming pile of mediocrity. So then we went on, and that place actually eventually got shut down for health code violations, which, you know, is just fucking great. And of course the Pizza Delight, which was like the only pizza joint in town that was even sort of half decent, because again, it's not, the other pizza place is just not good. I mean, which sucks, right? Because I mean, I love me a good pizza. I love me a not so hot great pizza. I'm the kind of guy who's kind of a whore when it comes to food. If it's cheap but tasty enough, I'll just shove it into my mouth. Right? I mean, McDonald's, Burger King, you name it. I love it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Where's the teeth? But, like, did you go invisible? Alright, yeah, you did. What the fuck was that on the other side of this guy, though? I was a rat. Okay. So, I'm like, here I am, super annoyed. The only, like, not even good pizza place in town. Like, not even that decent of a pizza place. Like, our Pizza Delight was never, like, good. But it was ours, right? Like, it was definitely the pizza place that we had. And it was there in case we ever wanted pizza. Without having to drive like 15 minutes to another town or something. Which is sort of a big deal, really. When you consider the fact that I don't drive and delivery is ridiculous. So, that place burned to the ground. And I mean, we still have like a restaurant called Kreddles, but it's not a restaurant. It's more like a farmer's market, basically. But it's like a farmer's market where for select times of the year they also sell food. Which, I mean, you know how that usually goes. It's overpriced to shit. It basically just exists for hipsters to, buy all natural food at exorbitant prices. Alright, and I mean, that place was going to be going under as well. That place was going bankrupt until an anonymous donor paid off their debt. Because the guy who owned it, when the place started hemorrhaging money, decided to pour all of his money into expanding it. Like, doubled the size of the building and all this other shit. So, like, there's really not much in this town in the way of food. We did get a food truck for the first time ever. They allowed a food truck to happen in our town. And you know what? It wasn't like the worst thing ever, but it wasn't great. We ate there like, oh fuck, I can't move. I'm just gonna die. It was so not great that, people liked it, for sure. People enjoyed it. But people in this town, like, and to be fair, in my opinion, this just shows how much people in this town want this. So they opened this adequate food truck, and it only makes like 4 kinds of burgers and fries and onion rings. That's like it, plus gravy. People go absolutely nuts over it. I mean, nuts to the point that the 2 times I go there, I was usually the last order to get in, before they completely ran out of supplies, like at supper time. Like they just couldn't make anything anymore because they didn't have enough meat and they had to cancel people's orders and give refunds. I ordered full-size burgers, but they had run so low on meat they were only able to give me sliders. And they didn't offer to give me back money. So I paid full price for like 3 burgers and got 1 moderate-sized burger and 2 sliders, which already, like, if I'm not paying you for a slider and you give me a slider, I'm not gonna like you. 'Cause, I mean, I'm paying for big meat. Alright, so we went back the way we came a little bit. Alright. So, already I'm sort of, like, annoyed. Plus, any other time I've gone there, there's just such a huge wait for food. Because there's always, like, people just sitting out front waiting for food. Plus, there's the fact that, again, they keep running out of supplies, so they keep having to wait, like, halfway through an order. Are you gonna come alive? No. Okay. This is, though. So they keep, like, having this situation come up where during the middle of cooking food, they they will need to basically just abandon their truck They of course don't completely abandon it. That would be nonsensical. But they need to, like, oh, I got spun around. There was still a mud crab chasing me. So, yay me. They need to fucking have, like, half of them go out, buy more supplies, and come back so they can continue making the orders. And this happened, like, the 3 times I went there. And I'm just like, you know what? Guys, like, 3 strikes and you're out. Oh, I'm dying. No, I'm just like 3 strikes, you're out. Like, come on, guys. I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, you're talking to like a fat guy who really likes food. You have to really fuck up for me to go, you know what? I just don't want to go to that place anymore. Because I mean, I will eat anywheres for the most part. Oh, Jesus. Because I'm not that picky, honestly. But it was just super frustrating. And then, you know, there's just nowhere else in town to eat that isn't, you know, a grocery store. And do you know what I would freaking do? Like, whoa, got some crazy game lag there. I would absolutely adore if there was a KFC in this town. I would adore it. Am I even hurting this guy at this point? Like, I'm really upset we didn't get his soul, but it didn't even look like we were hurting him. So, like, goddamn, like, come on, town. Let KFC exist. And you know what they argue, you know, well, it's not healthy, it would bring the quality of the town down. Fuck you. You think we're better than this? We're not better than this. It's such a pompous way to look at things. There's another town like 15 minutes away that's even more uppity. To the point where they don't allow food trucks in their town because they believe it would lower the quality of their living establishment. And you know what? I can't get behind someone who's that pompous. Because you know what? A lot of the people who live in this town are students. University students. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, I understand the apprehensions of a town going, we don't want a KFC in here because, you know, we have many children here between, you know, middle school, high school age, and, you know, we're trying to combat obesity. You know what? Alright, fair point. You know what? If your schools offered healthy lunches that were good at an affordable price, I can guarantee you that many of those kids, this is his house. We'll just meet him at the Fighters Guild. I can guarantee you those kids would probably stay at school and eat lunches. Right? Like, the cafeteria in my high school was not great. At all. And it was expensive. So, I mean, you know what? Make it affordable. I think that's the big issue, right? Like, make the food that you would prefer us to eat affordable and good. And you would see the high school students in that. But I mean, when I did D&D last week, people were like, "Hey, let's get pizza, and we'll all just have pizza at the table, and it'd be a really cool D&D session." And I'm like, man,
You've got the journal. He didn't. Back for more work, are you? Some of your brothers have been getting rowdy at the local tavern. I've gotten.
all right.
You're looking for Relian, Vantus Prelius, and Dubak Groshar. I haven't had any trouble with them before.
So I can understand where they're coming from on some level. Do not get me wrong. I completely disagree with it. Not only are you going out of your way to prevent people in your area from having choice, you're actually hurting what could be businesses, right? Like these could be jobs for people in your town to, and they wouldn't be glamorous jobs, but they would be jobs. And to just say, no, you know what, no, I don't want this here because I think it would make my town worse, even though it would create jobs. Not just for the construction crew that would be hired to build the place. Uh, but you know, a night manager, day manager, staff, cooks. It infuriates me to think that we're going to willingly tell people that you need to go elsewhere for work instead of us allowing this business to exist in our town. It just pisses me off. Let's just repair all this. So yeah, no, this was just on my mind. We're gonna trade. One moment. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much done that rant anyway, and we're fairly done this video. I'm just gonna blow all our money leveling up our armorer here.
There's much I can show.
Hey! We can now repair magical arms and armor.
Take care.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus Christ. I want to thank you all for coming by. Please, again, if you have enjoyed this video, comment down below. Let me know how you feel about the whole fast food industry and all this craziness. Have yourself a fantastic day. Sell out.